Yeah. Can you do it on the official one too? All right, I made you host. Yeah, we can. I'm about to do like a little boomerang. Hey, what's up, man? Getting yourself? Let me know when you want me to start it, Jordan. Or I think we're waiting for Renika. Hello. How's your day going today? That's good. That's good. Alrighty. And oh, wait. We gotta go hop on Twitch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we gotta hop
Actually,
on Twitch
actually,
chats.
and I'm gonna pull up the YouTube on my phone.
Yeah, I cut my phone off and with my phone because it don't be sounding right.
Okay.
All right, I'm good.
I am good on my side.
Turn that down.
I said, hey,
So cool. All right. So let me make sure there anything. I got random stuff like in this room. So, but all right, all right, guys. Let me do it this way. Actually, hold on.
Hey, old wicked dog. Thanks for the follow, brother. Appreciate you.
Okay.
On my 14th account.
Hey,
Oh,
Arky,
doc.
he also-
Not much, man. We're about to do an interview right now with Mr. Ben. How you doing, Doc?
oh, it's an old wicked doc.
Oh, wicked Doc. Nice. I'll shut up. Thank you, buddy.
All right. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we
Oh
can.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Just want to make sure. All right, man. Then I'm ready.
Great.
So, All right. I'm hitting record.
Okay.
All right. Hey everybody, this is Jordan, Crohn's Veteran Podcast. Thank you everybody for joining us. I have my two amazing co-hosts with me today, Renika Wood and CJ Cabrera. How you guys doing?
Great.
Hello.
Thanks. And today we are honored to have a very special guest. Ben is here to share his IBD journey, and we're just very grateful to have him here. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
It's Gucci.
um, so, so again, thank you for joining us, and just to kind of start things off, I got a little bit of your background, through talking to you on Instagram and stuff. But but for people that don't know, tell us a little bit about your IBD journey.
Okay. I was diagnosed with Crohn's when I was 8 years old. They kind of didn't know exactly what it was in the beginning because this was back in 94 or so. So it was, Crohn's was kind of new. They thought I was lactose intolerant. They thought I had different allergies to stuff, but it ended up being Crohn's. And for the next 4 years, I kind of struggled with my diet and my weight and going in and out of hospitals and whatnot, always on like kind of experimental medicines. It got to the point where I was 12 years old. I weighed like 55 pounds, and they wanted me to, kind of take a break from food. So I was on a feeding tube and pretty much like spending most of my 6th grade, 12-year-old self in a hospital or in and out of it. And it got to the point where the doctors really didn't know what to do. And we tried everything that we really could. So they gave me kind of an ultimatum, and, we can continue going down this road of taking medicine and trying maybe some holistic approaches or whatnot, or we can do major surgery, which would remove, all of my large intestine and colon. At that time, they were telling me that I had pretty much like the 1%, worst cases they were seeing like in my age group. And
Wow.
It got to the point where for myself, like I really just wanted to be a kid again. And I had to be homeschooled in 6th grade because I was just running to the bathroom 75 times a day. And so I just really wanted to be a kid and play basketball and go out and hang out with my friends and stuff. So like I, listened to him about the surgery, and my mom, had me make the decision. She at 12, she really didn't want me to use her as an scapegoat or to resent her later on in life for a decision. So she wanted me to be okay with the decision and listen to the doctors and more importantly, listen to yourself and your body and what you want, because you're going to be the one that has to deal with it. So I opted for the surgery at 13, and this is my 21st year with a colostomy. Since being 13, going through middle school and high school, and now all of my 20s, and now I'm into my 30s, it's definitely been an adventure, to say the least. High school was already hard for everyone. You're going through the growing pains, physically and mentally, but I was already kind of like past, I feel like that, maturity wise, because I've had to make a decision very young, that most adults, I think, wouldn't be able to really comprehend. I had to make. And, during the surgery, it was like a 9-hour surgery. And I guess supposedly a stitch ripped or so post surgery. And I was internally bleeding for a couple hours. So they had to go back in and another 4 or 5 hour surgery. And I was in ICU for like 2 weeks. And I could definitely say that, being at that point, or maybe even seeing maybe the white light or whatever, puts perspective on things, and reaching mortality at that young of an age, I feel shaped me and how I viewed or how I view things in life. So now it's 21 years later, and I'm an audio engineer on the road. I work for bands on the road as a sound engineer. So I'm always I'm traveling the country or the world sometimes with a band or bands. Right now, everything's obviously at a standstill. I own a studio, a recording studio, and also a rehearsal space for bands to come in. But yeah, the journey with Crohn's, didn't just end with the surgery, because I still have particular like flare-ups and or symptoms from it, but I'm just, obviously not running to the bathroom 75 times a day. I've gained my weight back, and I've, healthy, knock on wood, for, most instances, and I'm medicine free. I don't have to take any pills or whatnot.
Well, I'm happy to hear that, and I can definitely I think all of us here have been through some situations where that's definitely really the pain and just the discomfort of the experience just puts a real perspective on your life, and so I've had a couple of surgeries myself, and the second surgery, I didn't have pretty much any effective anesthesia for a couple of days after having 18 inches of my colon taken out, and so I was just in extreme pain for days, and so so going through something like that, just really just changes things.
It really does put things in perspective.
And
especially when you're going through some trying times in life, and you can kind of have this in the back of your brain, that you've conquered something like this, or you continue to, because it's not like IBD, Crohn's, or being the fact that I have a colostomy for life, like it's not going away. And my mom is very like kind of tough love, where she was just like, you can deal with this, or you can kind of go on top of the hospital and jump off, but you're going to own this, and you're going to, you're going to own it, and not use it as an excuse, but use it as fuel,
Right. Just you sharing about your early adolescent years and your transition from going from having this decision to make about either do I stay sick or do I go with this extreme surgery, and you opt out for the surgery. A lot of children now that I've seen, they have been very brave now about getting colostomies. Of course, you have some stores where children don't want to get them because of the stigma and they're teased and bullied. But I just really commend you for being that mature at such a young age. Because it took me I'm 38. It took me about 8 years to make a decision like I'm not doing this. Because I wasn't mentally prepared for that until I had no other option but to do what I had to do. So I commend you for doing that. I'm sharing.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Yeah. I know a lot of kids can really appreciate that, because they can see that there is life way past you having this ileostomy colostomy. You still can live your life abundantly. That's the thing about it. Yeah.
And it has been a great, to be honest, it has been a great filter for everything, with from relationships to just how you can particularly handle something. But if somebody is not gonna vibe with it, it's just easy that they're just not in your life, so right. It's made kind of some decisions particularly easier than others, just because there is that filter there that and I've had a hard time over the years too of telling people, or letting people in. For most of middle school and high school, I lived a double life, and it took a while, especially just getting out into the real world and kind of realizing that the people who matter to you, your people, they don't give a fuck. So right. And that's all that matters.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, I was going to say that. So I have a good friend, Adam Peterson. We interviewed him. He's also a sound guy, musician, and so I'm just curious, how has music changed or influenced your life with Crohn's?
Right.
Well, for having a colostomy bag, like in traveling, it's made my life a little bit easier than some people who have to, think about where the bathroom is, especially at a festival where they're resorting to porta potties. And I don't really mind because I could just stand. Um,
Right.
but with coming up in the music industry in the business, I started off at the bottom. I was just a dishwasher and kind of worked my way up and kind of was able to find or fine tune all of the jobs on the way up instead of just kind of picking one thing. And I feel that helped having kind of the relationship that I have with Crohn's, that it allowed me to kind of take a lot of things on and kind of always want to challenge myself. I was always kind of like wanting to challenge and push the envelope to to show myself that I can do it, that in quotations I'm normal, or whatever normal is. But there hasn't been a lot of like negative things, music wise, or career wise with Crohn's. But I have to say, like, it is the best, medicine, or at least for me, is to, be able to be on stage. I'm a drummer as well. So being able to be on stage and, play is, definitely takes all that away.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like a coping mechanism, a coping strategy. You doing
For sure.
Yeah.
And growing up, it was basketball, and then basketball, it turned into drums. And then, now later on in my later 20s and early 30s, being more of a professional on the road, and, being an audio engineer. I'm also a drum tech and keyboard tech. So, yeah, just, trying to set challenges for yourself and small goals, and, slow progress is still progress. But I try, or I've always been kind of mindful, that I never really wanted to put Crohn's, or me having Crohn's, or me having a bag, on anyone else. Most people that I work with on the road would have no idea that I have a bag or I even have Crohn's. Because I live a very pretty much normal life, other than I can't eat popcorn. But yeah, other than that, no one would really know. I guess that kind of goes back to kind of like the double life kind of thing, which is, sometimes difficult too, of who to, let in, and who to kind of keep at bay.
Right.
When do you decide?
I mean, it's been some times where I haven't, decided. There's been times where I've been intimate with a woman, and like she doesn't even know, and I don't know how that's possible. But nothing even particularly comes up, and I feel like at times, at times, I'm kind of trying to phrase this. Yeah, at times, I guess it's just kind of in the moment, and some things are kind of beyond words. But I guess if you kind of like feel it with certain people, you feel that warmth, and maybe the thoughtfulness, or the non-judgment, the non-shame. And some people are just kind of very like mindful and just open, and you just kind of feel that right off the bat. And I feel that people that have Crohn's, and probably you guys feel the same way, we kind of develop a sixth sense, because something kind of gets taken from us and we gain something else, and I've kind of always felt that I could feel it out, and some people just doesn't, they just don't rub you the right way.
Right.
I agree with that.
Yeah, like kind of like the spider senses are tingling type thing. So
yeah.
I wish, and I'm pretty sure as time goes on, I wish that the negative stigma associated with a ileostomy or colostomy would be removed, because I think that people that have them, we're the ones that's most insecure about ourselves, and the people around us probably like, okay, well, you here, you alive, so what's wrong?
Yeah. And they'll tell you up and down that you look great, and that's not sometimes what you see in the mirror.
Right.
It's, you know, you can call it like whatever it is, you know, but sometimes, you know, you're just not there. And it took me a long time to get even where I'm at now, where I'm comfortable without clothes on, or you know, taking my shirt off on the beach or going swimming, and kind of having that like fuck it attitude. I mean, that took me a while. Because you're right. I mean, that stigma, and even as a kid, like I lost friends over it, you know, even as now looking back, how kind of idiotic it was, you know, for them. They didn't know, you know, they just they didn't know better. And I wish there was a little more, you know, teaching on it too.
Yeah.
Just disabilities, or just things in general, you know, you never know what people are going through, so it's just better to just, you know, or easier, it's very easy to be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah. So yeah. So that's, you know, so speaking of that, you know, there might be some parents out, you know, listening, or you know,
Mm-hmm.
even or even a young person listening, you know, at some point, you know, and so, you know, well, you know, so if you could, you know, give, you know, a person that was diagnosed at a young age, you know, some advice, you know, on how to cope, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, any are there any kind of, you know, words of encouragement that come to mind?
You know, listen to your body, and definitely listen to, you know, what your heart's telling you, especially like when you're getting this overloaded sensory with what your parents are, you know, trying to tell you what the doctors are telling you. You know, take everything that they're saying and what you're saying, and use the critical thinking gene that we're given, and, you know, try to make a good decision for yourself right in the present, but also think of the future, that you're going to be living a different life than everybody else, you know, but it's not what exactly is happening to you, but it's what's happening for you. And, you know, I'm always try to spin negatives into positives as much as possible. You know, we all have our down days, but if the good days outnumber the bad days, then we're good, you know. And it's just trying to, you know, facilitate a really solid circle around you of positive people, and people that have your back. And whatever decision you make, they're gonna be there for you. And then, you know, and then the rest is really on you. And yeah, sometimes we get, you know, a shitty hand in life, but it's what you make of it. Because
Yeah,
sometimes you can, you
definitely.
know, sometimes you could rock a flush out of that.
Mhm, mhm. Right.
Beautiful.
Yes, it's up. I guess for me, when you were sharing about the kids, like now you've been older and you doing these beautiful things in the world. If you could have told your 8-year-old self something to this day, like thinking back now, like what would you tell your 8-year-old self right now?
Um, maybe first try to learn how to swallow a pill sooner. um, but, you know, I don't really think that I would change anything, or tell
Okay.
myself to maybe change anything that would change like the path of, or the course of my life. But I would just say to be more communicative with everybody, uh like, you know, to not, or have the attitude of the not get, you know, give a fuck attitude, you know, a lot sooner in life. It probably would have saved me from a lot of, you know, heartache, and or just, you know, being, or, you know, just depression, you know, in general, of feeling shame, and or feeling this when we shouldn't be feeling those things at all, you know. Those are all kind of like society driven uh stigmas.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
I agree with that. I agree.
Cool, 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 cool. Well,
Go ahead, George.
I really
no, no.
appreciate this conversation, guys.
Oh, you're very welcome. You know, and you know, well, I was gonna ask a quick question because CJ has something on his mind, but you know, just, you know, being in music and stuff, you know, you said that, you know, you've traveled and stuff, and so, you know, are there any, you know, notable experiences that, you know, that you've had that you would like to share?
Well, traveling to different countries are always kind of weird, especially carrying supplies on you, because sometimes they know what it is, sometimes they don't. But I have to say, in the last couple of years, especially flying as much as I do, the TSA agents have been definitely trained, or better trained on knowing what a colostomy bag is and how to handle that situation. So I don't have to explain myself 500 times over, which is ideal, especially traveling in airports where we know it's already chaotic.
Right.
And just the headache of it, having it all. But really just the road and traveling like on a tour bus. There is the rule that you're not allowed to go number 2 on a tour bus. There's a number of reasons, but being that I have a colostomy bag, I really don't have to worry about it. So it's just one less hassle.
That's awesome.
Oh, Wicked Doc said,
See,
he said, I know it could be different from everyone, and just being nice sounds like it's huge for self-confidence, but there's certain things that shouldn't be said slash brought up. For example, me being fairly ignorant on the subject, I feel like I'm being rude asking questions regarding this disease. Is it better route to stay curious slash do your own research due to it coming off as rude, or do you see it as someone just trying to broaden their understanding on the subject? I don't see it as rude, bro. Honestly, I just see
I
you
love
asking a
I
question.
love when people ask me questions about it. I love when people are forward, just in general in life. I love when people are forward. But
yeah.
especially when they're inquisitive, or they want to gain some knowledge, you can really tell when someone's sincere, and when someone is, and they're doing it because they care and they actually want to know. I think there's never a problem with that, and I would talk to people for hours about it if they wanted to, or if they had questions. Yeah, and it's never rude to me.
Right. And that's a good. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jordan.
No. Go ahead, Renika.
Okay. I was saying, well, that's a great question because he's asking, should he not ask questions and do his own research, or ask questions and get feedback from someone that's going through it? Just like what being said, there's some people that ask questions because they really, really genuine want to know.
Mm-hmm.
There's some that ask questions because they're like, oh, I feel so sad for you. I'm like, what?
Sure.
You have to understand, or some may ask because they're being funny. So you kind of get a vibe for when someone asks a question. But I feel this way: if you ask a question and you know in your heart you've been sincere in your question asking, then ask the question. But if you were asked a question to be funny or to pass judgment, then I would prefer you not to ask a question. That's with anything in life.
Mm-hmm.
So you ask questions either to be nosy or either to help. So what you're trying to do? Trying to be nosy or help me out? Which one to do now? So, but that's how I look at it.
And it never hurts to do your own. It never hurts to do your own,
Research too.
research. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then
Yep.
you
I
might
mean,
have some
because
better understanding.
exactly. I mean, you can do your own research, and that way, if you do have the opportunity to ask somebody a question, you can have a more educated, more informed question. So,
Exactly.
so it's a win-win. It's a win-win. And so cool. Well, thanks for sharing. We're always looking for, to answer questions, comments, just like that. And so
I got one question
cool.
for you.
Yeah,
I have one question. So, Ben, have you ever met anyone on the road, like in the music industry, that you identify with that have irritable bowel disease? That you connected with while you've been on the road?
Not exactly directly. There has been some people I've come across the road that have some, irritable bowel, issues. Not Crohn's per se, but one of the guys I work for, the bass player in the band that I work for, his girlfriend has Crohn's, and she's been, she's been struggling with it for years. And so we kind of have a bond, and with that, crony bond.
Right.
So I think we can kind of like tell, when we meet someone like that. But no, I haven't really had the chance to meet anyone else with a colostomy on the road. When I was younger, I actually went to a couple ostomy camps. when I
Oh,
was,
Mm.
yeah, because my mom felt that it would be, good for me to be around some people who have already dealt with it for years. So this was a camp of like 1,200 kids, that all
Oh,
had,
wow.
That's
um,
awesome.
some sort of colostomy or ileostomy or
What a great
urostomies. Yeah.
what a great experience. I mean, that sounds like a great experience.
And
So
I mean, it was for, it was at that time I still struggled with me even like, recognizing that I had, like, maybe even had it, or like that it was there forever,
mm,
but they definitely put a lot of things in perspective, and seeing how other kids were handling it, where you wouldn't again know that they had it, going to SeaWorld and hanging out and everyone's just having a good time, like you're looking at these kids and they're just going on with their lives, and at that point it was still new to me, um still very fresh, to accept it, and probably only in the last maybe, you know 5 to 10 years that I really come to acceptance, with it, with it all, with my body, how I was handling it, how I let it handle me, which is the really tricky thing.
right. I agree. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you. And so, well, it's been about half an hour or so.
Right on.
Yeah, and so, but so we're gonna wrap things up a little bit here, but first things first, of course. Thank you very much, sir. For your time. And for sharing your journey, for sharing your story. I sincerely appreciate it. And then, and for people listening out there, if there's any projects you're currently working on, and also, any, social medias, including your Instagram, of course, how people can find you, please share.
My Instagram is, Mr. Ben Travers, Mr. Ben Travers, Travers, and my studio you can check out is Astrology Days, astrology underscore days. I live in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and, going to be going this weekend and working for the band Twiddle. That's who I work for. I'm the monitor engineer and drum tech for the band. We have two live stream gigs at the Capitol Theater in Port Chester. Actually, sorry, that was just postponed because of New York COVID, regulations. So we're actually doing the live stream in Vermont. Um,
Cool.
and yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. And I love what you guys are doing and the mission, to get the word out. And, no, I really appreciate you guys.
Thank you. That
Thank
means
you.
that means a lot. That's why we do what we do. So so that means a lot coming from you. And so Ben, you and everybody else listening can check us out at www.crohnsveteran.com. We have a awesome Teespring store, full of amazing merch that will help support our show, and and folks with IBD. Also, you can check us. Our podcast is available on Google, on Spotify, on Anchor, on Apple, and of course, also our YouTube channel. You can find us on Twitch. Follow Chilgos, CJ, and I think that's it, guys. Of course, you of course follow me, me at Crohn's Veteran, CJ at Propero, and Renika at Crohn's underscore sexy with two X's.
Hell yeah.
That's it. And that's it.
Thank
And so,
you.
yeah, we lit. So we appreciate it, Ben.
Thank
And
you.
and you have a good rest of your night, sir.
Awesome. You too. Much love, guys.
All
Thank
right.
Thank you for
you.
coming, Ben.
See you later. All right. Bye bye.
Thank you, Doc. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for checking out the podcast. But I'm gonna go ahead and end it, and I'll probably hop on Discord later, so
All right.
I'll
Cool.
be in there.
Cool. Cool. Cool.
I'm
Cool.
gonna end the stream though. Thanks for
All
coming,
right.
bro. Appreciate it.
Yeah.